Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Brajananarandana Yasodanandana Brajananarandana Yasodanandana Brajananarandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 19, The Killing of the Demon Hiranyaksha. Text 25. Tamustibi vinignantam Vajrasarera duksajaha Karena karna mulehan Yatatvastram marutpati Tamustibi vinignantam Vajrasarera duksajaha Karena karna mulehan Yatatvastram marutpati Tamustibir vinignanta Vajra sarira duksajaha Karena karna muleha Yatatvastram marutpati. ladies. Tam Hiranyaksha Mustibi with his fists, Vinignantam striking, Vajrasarai as hard as a thunderbolt, Aduksaja Lord Aduksaja, Karina with the hand, Karnamule at the root of the ear, Ahan struck, Yata as, Twastram the demon Vrita, son of Twasta, Marutpati Indra, Lord of the Maruts. Translation. The demon now began to strike the Lord with his hard fists, but Lord Aduksaja slapped him in the root of the ear, even as Indra, the Lord of the Maruts, hit the demon Vrita. Purport. The Lord is explained here to be Aduksaja, beyond the reach of all material calculation. Aksaja means the measurement of our senses, and Aduksaja means that which is beyond the measurement of our senses. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyanandana Salakya Shakshurun Minitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Adaksaja or Aduksaja. So, Adaksaja beyond the senses. The senses by nature are limiting. The senses can only have limited perception, only so far, and then it goes beyond the perception of the senses. Only so far we can see, only so much we can hear, only so much we can taste. Some things cannot be tasted. There was a poison, it could not be tasted. In this way, our senses are all limited. All limited. What can we say? But Krishna is Adaksaja because he's unlimited. Therefore, Krishna's power cannot be calculated. See, normally you're walking in the street and you're looking at, and you see some characters coming down the street that look a little bit aggressive, and you're sort of measuring their size. You kind of look at like, how big are the arms, right? How tall are they? And think like, what's that skinny little guy gonna do to me? Or, maybe better cross the street. Right? Depending on the size of the person, we calculate, we estimate automatically, at a glance. Yeah, at a glance. We look at everyone, put everyone in a box immediately, at first sight. Okay, this guy, not only the muscle, but the brain, everything, at a glance, right? Looks intimidating. Looks this, looks that. Whatever it may be, we just put people in boxes like this. We estimate their powers. But the powers of the Supreme Lord are Adaksaja. They are beyond estimation. One can never know. And therefore, the whole pastime of Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha is now coming to a conclusion, because this is the final slap today. Tomorrow, we'll see the result of the final slap. A little preview. Quick look, you see eyeballs bulged out of their sockets. That's the next. Arms and legs broken, right? And the hair on his head scattered. His golden hair, remember? Here in Yaksha, beautiful golden hair now scattered. I mean, it had to be scattered. There, something had to happen to that hair, that golden hair. That was obviously, he couldn't get away with that, right? Just with his golden hair intact. No. He had to be thoroughly brought down from his position of false pride. Yeah. So the Lord smashed his pride. It's not so much that the Lord hit him below the ear, and that's a special karate blow, which you can remember now, and hit people at the root of the ear and see what happens. Some martial arts stuck into the Srimad Bhagavatam. No, it is simply that the Lord was cutting down his false pride. That is the business of the Supreme Lord, with all living beings, cutting down their false pride. And in some way or other, and whether it comes by a blow or whether it becomes by the influence of time, because time makes everyone bow down, little by little. So in this way, that is the true purpose of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to bring the conditioned souls of a point of humility, of actually seeing how insignificant they are, or we are, and then one can appreciate, I can't do anything without Krishna, not even breathe, right? I can't move a finger. It's all sanctioned by Krishna. In every action, Krishna is the ultimate factor. Right? You know, all success therefore depends on Krishna, because if he didn't sanction it, it wouldn't happen. Yes, I've made this painting. Oh yes, your name is on it. Oh yes, I can see. Ah, very nice. Yes, are you the artist? Yes, I am. Yes. Oh, I mean, you are so talented. Oh yes, I am. You are. It is amazing, I know. I mean, yes, practically no one in the world. No, I can't think of anyone in the world who can paint like you. I know. I will be remembered for hundreds of years. Yes, but Purusamni so, Krishna says, I am the power in man, and it is given. So whatever we have, the tricky thing is we do have power. We do, and we know it. We know it. Right? If we can draw, we know it. And if we cannot draw, we also know it. Like I cannot. And it's hopeless. In school, I remember those agonizing times when we had the art lessons. It started in kindergarten. Cutting, pasting. Oh my God. Oh, what misery. Clay, you know what I mean? Everywhere, all over my clothes. Ink, you know what I mean? God, where ink cannot go. On your nose, in your nose, everywhere. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had ink blots everywhere from school. So I'm in good company. It was misery. Then, art. Oh, God. Whatever I would draw, it was hopeless. I never got beyond the level of a 6-year-old. I'm still there. Yeah, it's like I can't draw any better than a 6-year-old. That's about as far as it gets. What to do? So, and then you got these other people, and they just and it's fabulous. Purusamnisu, a gift from Krishna. And he will let us have it as long as he desires, not as long as we desire. Da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum. Beethoven, right? I think in Germany everybody knows this, right? But Beethoven, the great composer, went deaf. Can you just imagine that? You are the great composer, the famous Beethoven, right? I mean, the world is at your feet. During his lifetime, he was being worshipped. Beethoven. Oh, even now, still people are going, oh, Beethoven. And he went deaf. That's not coincidence. That's not by chance. That is by a divine arrangement. That is a plan. Just to see, first I give you the power, and now you can blow up your ego like a balloon, and it will be swollen and huge and enormous, and then comes the pin, bang, and it just explodes. You ever think of that? The great composer went deaf. Yeah, like this. All right, so with a sober mind. A sadhu is looking with a sober mind at the material energy, not excited from, oh, it's working out, oh, I'm going to be a success. And yeah, okay, this looks like it's successful by the grace of the Lord, right? And oh, this is not working, but it's not working. I don't know why it's not working. All right, yes, it's not working by the grace of the Lord. It's either working or not working, but it is always the grace of the Lord. So if the Lord desires so, yes, then we'll face that moment where our powers are reduced. What to do? What to do? Sometimes we get the ability to influence other people and to take a leading role in the world. And other times that's taken away and we are just become a background figure. And it's not like, it's not up to us entirely. Although we can do something, obviously, we can. We can work hard and if we and make it a success with Krishna's grace. So it looks like by our efforts, we can be successful. Right? Oh yes. By being smart, by working hard, then there's success, isn't it? Yes, but also by the grace of the Lord, ultimately. So yes, Hiranyaksha, he was very strong and very powerful, but he forgot one thing. He forgot Krishna's instructions. And Krishna says, Balam balavatam chaham. He says that the strength of the strong is to protect the weak. And that he did not understand. He was enjoying his power. Huh? You little insect. Get out of my way. Right? Which creature can challenge me? No one. Therefore, I can do what I want. Ishwaraham, aham bhogi. I am the enjoyer. I am the controller. These two things. And that is the mistake. That is the fundamental demoniac mentality. The first mistake. So, although the pastime is full of effects, right? I mean, a casual slap, right? Just at the bottom of the ear. A backhander, I mean, it's like, it's not supposed to do serious damage. It's just a backhander. But, they can see in the next verse, though struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all the demon's body, the conqueror of all the demon's body began to wheel. His eyeballs bulged out of their sockets, his arms and legs broken, and the hair on his body scattered. He fell down dead like a gigantic tree uprooted by the wind. So these are the dramatic effects, you can say, right? So it's full. The pastimes of the Lord are full of ras. They are full of taste. They are not just, it's not just that the Lord is trying to make the living beings who are falsely proud humble and teach them a lesson. No, the Lord is described as Daksha, and he is described as expert. So because he is very expert, as Daksha, it says in the Nectar of Devotion, Daksha or expert means one who can fulfill many purposes in one stroke. So here in one stroke, he gave one stroke, right? But he fulfills many purposes in that one stroke. And the first purpose is to bring down the pride of Hiranyaksha. The second purpose, which is even more important, is to attract the devotees. And therefore he shows his attractive features. Because you know the mind. You have one too. And one thing about the mind is the mind quickly gets bored. That's just one thing the mind does. After a little while, already getting bored. Okay. We know where this lecture is going. It's boring. Right? Okay. We've been here long enough. Right? Boring. The lockdown, is it boring? It's just made life so boring. Right? And so on. So, yeah, the mind is restless. Chanchalam himana Krishna. The mind is restless. The mind cannot remain very long focused on one thing. Krishna is aware. So Krishna shows all these surprising, unlimited varieties of activities. And just a mild slap to a demon, and then next thing, there he goes. His eyes. Very dramatic effects. So everyone is sitting on the edge of his seat. I mean, wow, look at that. That is Krishna. Krishna is not just a Lord who is seated on a throne and passively awaiting worship and said, I am God, the Almighty, in case you had any doubts. I am God, the all-knowing, in case you had any doubt. Yes, therefore, you, tiny, insignificant creature, I've created you for my pleasure. Now you serve. Okay. Yeah, we will. I mean, we know about thunderbolts coming on people's heads and all these things. Yes, we will serve. We know that, we know about suffering in the material world. Yes, we will serve. Yes. Surrender. Yes, when you twist my arm, oh God, yes, I will surrender. Yes, I will. No. That's not God. No. The Lord is attracting us. He's attracting his devotees. Krishna, we had Ram Navami, and we were discussing about Maryada Purushottam and Lila Purushottam, and how Lord Ramachandra is Maryada Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate controller, Purushottam, who is Maryada, who is establishing Maryada, the standards. So here's Lord Ramachandra. He is establishing all the standards. And Krishna is Lila Purushottam. He is the ultimate supreme controller who is showing amazing pastimes. Of course, in all his features, in all his appearances, the Lord is showing amazing pastimes. But especially the Lord is appearing as the all-attractive, as the person who is attracting everyone with his amazing pastimes. And Krishna, if we read the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, there are 90 chapters. 90 chapters, and more than half of them describe Krishna's childhood pastimes. And then after that, he goes and leaves Vrindavan and so on. Mathura, Dwarka, that's different. But the childhood pastimes are amazing. So Krishna is particularly known, he's Leela Purushotam, because he is performing these amazing childhood pastimes. And these childhood pastimes are, he's killing one demon after another, or lifts a hill, or this or that. But the whole thing is to attract the devotees, right? To just attract the devotees and to bind the devotees to them. So that shows that the Supreme Lord is making constant arrangements to bind the devotees to him. That is his objective. He's not a passive Lord. He's not just sitting there ready to be worshipped. No. But then, backtrack a little bit. 5 minutes ago, I just spoke about that punishing element and about that force and that twisting of the arm. What about that? That is also there, but that is his mercy in a lower form. That is the lower form. In the lower form, there is some punishment. So, well, that's a bit heavy, a punishing God, after all. One time, we had a Harinam in the city of Amsterdam, and we always start at the same place, at the Mint Tower, and from there we go into the main shopping street. So as we came to the Mint Tower, there was a street artist, and the street artist had made a painting of God sitting on a cloud. An old man with a beard, with a heavy expression on his face, looking down. And he sort of looked at that like intense. As we started, it looked intense. Pooh. It's like, looked like God didn't have a good day, When you're old, it can be tough, right? I mean, some days the arthritis is really playing up and you're a bit sour, So, sitting at a cloud. I'll get these sinners today. Anyway, so the model of a punishing God. And we are starting our Harinam and we go down the street, and we're only like 100 meters on the road with the Harinam, and nice people responding. Suddenly, out of a window on the first floor, flies the seat of a toilet. We duck, it just flies over our head, and we get out of there quickly. Thinking about what would come next, someone was in the toilet and got so disturbed by the Harinam that he threw the seat. And we were just wondering, what's he going to throw next? So get out of here. Anyway, no one got hurt, but it was a shocking thing. The Harinam continued, and it was okay. Some people were dancing and like everything. And then one man comes up, and he just stands in front of us, and he just like spits. He spits like that. And I go like, what's wrong today? What's wrong today? It doesn't usually happen like this, right? Such extreme people. What's happening? Anyway, we did a full circle and, met many nice people dancing this, that. And then in the end, we came back to the picture of a punishing God. And then I was thinking, yes, that's what they think we're representing, right? That's what they think. We're representing the punishing God. We don't want this. We don't want this anymore, And if you don't surrender, you'll go to hell. We don't want this anymore. Hell doesn't exist. So, we solved that problem. We got you there. There is no hell. So, that fixes that, right? I don't believe in a hell because how could the God of love, create a hell? No. I think this is simply manufactured by the church to try and suppress people and take all the money. Yes. In India, same thing. Dan karu. Jaldi, daan karo. Huh? Huh? In this way. Yes, in this way we see this punishing God. But there is suffering in this world, isn't it? There is. And if ultimately Krishna is the supreme controller, then isn't he responsible for that suffering? And then the answer, of course, we hear is no, no, no. The living beings themselves are responsible because by their sinful activities, they're simply getting the reactions of their sinful activities. Okay, okay. But, says my mind, but still, this whole mechanism of karmic reactions and so on, who created that? We may be responsible, like there's a machine, let's say, there's a machine. And the machine can give you sweets on the one side, sweets come out. On the other side, the machine beats you. You're really careful with the machine to stay on the right side of the machine, right? And you stand in front of the machine and you just wonder, who made this machine? What kind of mind made this machine? Isn't it? Is that God? Is that him? What kind of mind is that? Is God cruel? Nietzsche said so. Have you read the Antichrist? It's fun reading, I must admit. I did read it, and it was very interesting because basically, Nietzsche describes at one point, he says, and God was surrounded by angels, seated on a throne, and all these angels were worshipping him. And why would they not? He gave them everything. Then he had a brilliant idea. And he created man, and he made him suffer. He didn't give him all the enjoyment of the angels. Oh no. And he made him work hard for just his basic livelihood. The angels, everything was provided. But man had to work so hard and suffer. And he left them only with little enjoyment. And then in the name of religion, he made them give that up as well. Yes, says Nietzsche. And then God got bored with the whole thing. And he just arranged that some planets were colliding and the whole universe exploded. And it was over. And the game was over. And God said, it was a good game. I'll do it again. So that's Nietzsche gave that image of the cruel God. But what about it? Why did he make that karma mechanism? Heavy karma, heavy duty. Why? Is that really the God of love? And is that our Krishna? And I once remember how Satchidananda Maharaj gave a lecture. We were on a boat and in Denmark and we were giving lectures, and he gives this lecture about how sweet Krishna is. And the lecture was so sweet and Krishna was so sweet, and it got so sweet that like at one point I felt now something salty. So after the sweet, it was my turn. In Gujarat, they always start with the sweet. So I gave the salty after. And then I said, yes, Krishna is so sweet. But what about the Black Plague? In the Middle Ages, 1/3 of the world population died. 1/3. 1/3. In 4 days in Rwanda, 2 million people killed. Right. Hiroshima, name it, so many things. What about all that? Right. Yeah. So, I spoiled Satchidananda Maharaj's lecture. But we had an interesting discussion. And I remember that Satchidananda Maharaj rolled up his sleeves and said, "Oh," and he rolled up his sleeves. That I remember. Unfortunately, I don't remember the whole discussion anymore, but we had fun. It was going up and down for a while. It was exciting. So today I invoke the same dilemma. On the one hand, the Krishna who attracts, the Krishna who performs amazing pastimes and who just captures our mind, and on the other hand, the punishing Krishna who creates this karma machine that has sweet on the one side and beats us on the other side. And now what? Why did Krishna have to create suffering? All right, we are responsible. We bring it upon ourselves. If we're pious, we can become demigods and live a nice life. And if we're impious, we are being beaten. We understand. But why doesn't he, if we didn't want to surrender to him, why doesn't he just leave us alone without suffering? Okay, we didn't want to surrender. Krishna said, all right, I create a world for you, a material world where you can be separate from me. But why did he have to put that suffering in there? Why couldn't he just have made a world without suffering? And the only suffering we would have had is that we miss out on the big party in the spiritual world. And that the material world, that we remain empty. That we would have had. But what about all the other stuff? Wouldn't it have been better if he would have let out the suffering? From one perspective, you might think so. Then why is this suffering in there? It's because of love. It's because of love. Because Krishna cannot wait any longer. He cannot wait any longer. Are you finally going to come back home? Well, yeah, coming soon, but just a little more sense gratification, we're on a vacation here, a sense gratification, right? From the spiritual world, yes. So, and finally Krishna said, now it's enough. Bang! Right? Out of love. Out of love. He can't tolerate it any longer, Grabs you in the neck, right? Says, no, it's enough now. It's enough. Your stubbornness, it's enough. I cannot tolerate it any longer. It hurts me too much. All right, I put some sand in the sweet rice. All right, I put some suffering in this material world. I know, it's not nice, but it will bring you to your senses. And then, when it will bring you to your senses, then maybe you can open up to my attractive side. And then, instead of wasting your time with Spider-Man, you can read about Hanuman. And you can become, again, right, attracted to me. Because this is really what life is about. This is the purpose of life, to be attracted to the Supreme Lord and to serve him out of love. And he, in turn, is attracted to his devotees and serves them out of love. And each time when there's a loving exchange between the two, when Krishna sees the love in his devotees that they have for him, his love for them increases. And when Krishna sees that, when the devotee sees that Krishna actually, that his love, that he's actually loving him, then the devotee loves Krishna even more. And then Krishna loves that devotee even more. And the devotees start to love Krishna even more. And so the love between Krishna and his devotees eternally increasing. And then the devotees look at each other and they see they're filled with love. And then they love their neighbors as well, instead of looking at them like,
who is that sitting next to me? Huh? Who is this strange person? Very strange. He is different from me.
And then so much love in the community of devotees will be there, because each are filled with love for Krishna. And isn't that the most wonderful thing? And this is called the community of love. And this is what we are meant to be, a community of love. Right? Loving exchange is actually loving what the devotees are doing. And in a loving way, appreciating the community of love. That is the spiritual world. And that is this movement. Golokira Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. The love of Golok, the gift of the love of Golok, has descended into this movement. And that is what it's all about. And then we will live on the basis of attraction. There's this funny movie that they made some years ago called The Secret. And The Secret is about the law of attraction. Right? And then they they tell you that, you get what you attract. And if you want happiness, you can attract it. And then someone speaks with an American voice and says, and since I know about this law of attraction, I made a lot more money. But this is rubbish, right? This is rubbish. Prabhupada talks about this. There was one man who goes into the bank. And he just goes to the bank. And there's a teller, the person behind the counter with, some glass. And he has a stack of money. And then the man who comes to the bank, he takes some money and he throws it at the stack of money. And then he says, and the teller, behind the counter says, "What are you doing?" The man says, "I heard that money attracts money." "That is true," says the teller. "My money has attracted your money." Right? So Prabhupada speaks about this, the law of attraction. But it's not that we are attracting all the good fortune of the universe by sitting here and all I have to do is be positive. Think positive. Are you thinking positive? If you think positive, only positive things will come to you. Rubbish. Rubbish. That's rubbish. No. It is about Krishna. And to become attracted to Krishna. And then, yes, the more we become attracted to Krishna, the more Krishna becomes attracted to us also. And then, yes, we can attract all good fortune as well. This is the law of attraction. But it begins with Sri Krishna occurs. It begins with being attracted to Krishna. It says Srila Bhaktisiddhanta translates the name Krishna in different ways. He gives one translation, he says the name Krishna is all attractive. Another meaning of the name Krishna is he who can attract all. Right? All become attracted by him. And all can attract him as well. Yes. These are all different understandings of Krishna. So somehow or other, let us live a life of service. Not because our arm is twisted, but because we know it attracts Krishna. And that is the most amazing thing. When these mothers are packing the lunch packages for their sons as Krishna and the cowherd boys go into the forest, every mother knows that the coward boys steal each other's lunch packages. And so they're all thinking, what if Krishna today will steal the lunch packet of my son? And will open it up and say, oh, what's in there? And taste one sweet. Yes. Therefore, she puts in the best possible sweet, because it might just happen that Krishna will taste it. That is Vrindavan, somehow or other. Do the best we can to attract Krishna. Yeah. Whoever cooks for Krishna, makes some sweets for Krishna. Whoever waves the incense at Krishna, the best we can. In everything. And then, we'll want to be exciting if we can attract Krishna. And if Krishna tastes the sweet you've made, and will say like, wow. Wouldn't that be exciting? That is bhakti. Oh. There's no force. It's done out of love. Okay, I will stop. Any questions or comments after all of that? Yes.
Just wanted to confirm what you said about God's love, and I remember the verse from Bible where it says, I'm paraphrasing, those who God loves, He punishes them.
Oh, is that the Bible? Well, that's the lower level of love, right? So God's love comes in two ways. It comes in the lower level and it comes in the higher level. Just as in the lower level, for the conditioned soul, there may be some punishment at times to correct the living entity, and that is mercy, right? Just as you sometimes have to correct your children, otherwise they turn into monsters, right? Yeah, there's everyone knows, like sometimes and it's not that you enjoy it, to get heavy with the kids, but we hope not, No, it's not that a parent enjoys that, but it has to be done. Otherwise, to correct them. So that's all Krishna does. It's never the punishment of a conqueror. In the Bhagavatam, in the story of the Daksha Yajna, when Shiva gets angry, then there's a purport that describes the punishment of the conqueror and the punishment of a parent. And it says the conqueror puts the boot on your throat, and the parent is punishing, but he doesn't like it, but it has to be done to correct the person. So that's God's punishment. But that's not the ultimate. Therefore, this statement of the Bible, Lord Chaitanya would have said, this is exterior. Is there more? And there is more. And that more is the loving exchange and the mutual attraction between Krishna and his devotees. So, in conclusion, we can say, there is more than the Bible. Yes.
Hare Krishna. I just don't want to get the wrong conclusion from the last statement you made, about this law of attraction. I mean, I know it's, I can't find a polite word for it. I know it's not correct, and that's completely true. But at the same time, sometimes Prabhupada stresses about the point about being enthusiastic. And I feel, that happens on a mental level, that we're...
On a mental level?
Yes. I mean, you can't be the positiveness, when we are in a kind of a negative mood. This is actually happening on a mental level.
Sure.
And sometimes we try to force our mind not to see these things positively.
You're talking about the statement, think positive, and then, everything will become positive. Yes, I mean, it is true to an extent. This is the efforts that we can make, right? And if you go like, I'm a loser, I can't do anything, and everything I do will go wrong, then probably everything will go wrong. And if you think, no, I'll do it somehow or other, even if the first time it doesn't work, I'll do it the second time, I'll make it a success. I'm convinced. I'm positive, and positive things will happen. So that is true. And it says one can attract Lakshmi by one's efforts. One can attract Lakshmi by one's efforts, by one's positive action. One can get good fortune in this world. But that's not absolute. That's not absolute. Because karma is above that. And if due to your karma you were supposed to get nothing, then no matter how much you work and how positive you think, you'll get nothing. Right? That's it. Karma said nothing. Sorry. You you worked so hard, you thought really positive, but no results. And then you're looking at your neighbor. And that guy, he never really does anything. Nothing, he does nothing, the guy. And it just comes his way, you know what I mean? Money comes, it's like, got everything. Everything he's got, and he doesn't do nothing for it. Right? That's ultimately karma. So karma is above this material positive thinking and negative thinking. So yes, we try to have a positive attitude, right? But Prabhupada said, spiritually, very optimistic about spiritual life and pessimistic about material life. Just positive thinking? No. The material world is broken and you ain't gonna fix it. Okay? It's broken and you ain't gonna fix it. You better live with it. Somehow or other, tolerate it and spiritually make it happen. That's the positive. So, spiritually optimistic, materially pessimistic.
I was thinking about how this idea that the suffering of the world is a problem is self-centered, because the world is living, it's populated by living beings and is working by living beings. So jiva se jivanam. You have to subsist on another living being, and then you have to cause this suffering. So then when suffering comes to you, then how can you complain about it? Because you're living for someone else. Yeah. So it's not actually a problem, is it?
Yeah, that's on a philosophical level. On a philosophical level, the philosopher can easily say so, because the philosopher takes a detached position, and then he just logically works it all out. The difficulty comes when the philosopher is on someone else's plate, and someone brings out the knife and fork. There's a cartoon which shows a dragon and a knight, on a horse, and he has a lance, and he's ready to attack the knight. And the dragon has a napkin around his neck and a knife and fork, and he says, "Oh, you brought your pony." Yeah? I mean, it's like, it's easy when you're the dragon, but when you are the target, then the philosophy becomes more difficult. So, although I appreciate the philosophy that there's no problem with suffering, I do experience a problem with suffering. I do. I actually find suffering quite disturbing, to tell you the truth. I personally don't like it at all, and I would rather avoid it. I know philosophically that a sense of suffering will be there throughout all the stages of bhakti up to bhava. Up to bhava, the suffering is minimized, but it's still there. A sense of suffering. What to speak of the lower stages of bhakti, where the sense of suffering is much stronger. Only in prem, only in Krishna prem, is one free from all suffering. So Rupa Goswami explains in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Thank you, Maharaj. I really appreciate that answer. And I should have clarified it. The problem is not with believing in God being, nice and sweet. Because I've created my own suffering. So my suffering shouldn't be a problem for my belief in Krishna's sweetness.
TK. Sukriya. I'm getting hungry talking about suffering. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah. Bhakti Shastri certificates. Whoa.
Hare Krishna, ganz kurz, wir verteilen die Bhakti Shastri Zertifikate in der Gemeinschaft von seiner Heiligkeit Kadamba. So, erstens, ich rufe einfach den Namen auf, ihr kommt kurz vor, ich gebe es euch ganz simpel. Bhakta Bajar. Soll ich jetzt mal verteilen? No, I don't need it. No? Bhakta Björn.
Bhakta Björn.
Tungabhadra Devidasi. Manchu Krishna, ist sie hier? Nilambar Das. Bhakta Marcel Berthold. Es werden einige, wir haben über 10 Devotees, die jetzt hier erfolgreich hier Vishwapandisha Bhakti Shastri Kurs abgeschlossen haben. Ich hoffe, wir können so in dem Tempo weitergehen, weil die Devotees hier, dass alle Devotees im Simhachalam den ganzen Bhakti Shastri haben. Das wäre schon gut. Bhakta Tommy. Mark, Bhakta Mark.
Ganz gut, ja?
Ja.
Was alle haben werden. Beeindruckend.
Bhakta Emilio, Paulino. Hier? Ja, kann das jemand ihm geben, bitte? Dass ich es nicht mehr jetzt habe. Bhaktin Samira. Also ihr bekommt hier euer Essay, das ich nur ganz minimal korrigiert habe. Also mit Essay korrigieren ist ein bisschen schwierig, aber ich habe 2, 3 Punkte rangeschrieben und den Test habe ich, seht ihr dann Prozent, also von 100%. Ab 65 ist bestanden und ja, wer drüber ist, Advaita Simhadas. Akila Prabhu.
Wow. Hare Krishna. All glories.
Das war's soweit. Falls jemand fehlt, kann auf mich zukommen, vielleicht habe ich vergessen zum Ausdrucken oder so. Ja. Okay, ich danke euch vielmals, es war ein super Kurs. Wir planen auch schon den nächsten dann. Nächstes wird sein Bhagavad Gita, Kapitel 1 bis 6. Ich werde euch dann so schnell wie möglich informieren, wer mitmachen möchte und auch schon Material schicken und auch die Verse zu lernen, weil es ja mehr Verse sind. Danke vielmals. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.